There, this is MJ. Time for another Star Wars review. This time I'm going to be talking about the Anakin Skywalker edition of the Age of Republic Special Series. So the writers, Judy Hauser. The artists are Cory Smith and Wilton Santos. Walden Wong is the inker again. Java Tartaglia is the colorist. Let me see. Well, I don't know. Cover and letterer, you can see for yourself who they are. I unfortunately don't quite appreciate. I don't have the comic book sophistication to appreciate the work of the letterer, so here's me. And covers, there are always lies, aren't they? So anyway, here's a nice panning shot of the cover. I mean, it's a great rendition of like the Hayden Christensen Anderson from, wait, no, that's not right. What I meant to say is that's a pretty great rendition of Anakin as he appears in Revenge of the Sith. I don't know what I actually said, but it was way wrong. So anyway, but you know, just kind of a generic cover. There's fire, there's stuff going on in the background. This would almost be more of like a better cover for like a Revenge of the Sith than a Clone Wars type thing, but you know, whatever, that's fine. So as I was approaching reading this comic, I for some reason didn't think I was going to have enough time to actually look it over, so I just kind of flipped through the pages and checked out the art, which is something I think I'm going to do in the future because I think it helped me to pick out what was the most affecting art in a way that I would not have been able to had I read the story. And I don't know, I hope that isn't a dumb method, but it's something I'm going to try for the next few comics I review. Anyway, it's funny, I don't think that this art is like very on model or very accurate, and I also think the way, like if you see on the left side, there's his face in shadow, and then there's his hand, and then to the right of his hand is the you know, the reflection of his face, and it's shadowed and dark and, you know, moody, and he's kind of got a scowl, or he just looks like he's, you know, not a happy camper. First of all, I almost think that that right hand should be a left hand, but obviously the thumb's on the left side, so it's a right hand. So like on really close, and then secondly, like I think the angle that his face is at the on the left side where it's shadowed doesn't really match with the face we see in the reflection. But regardless of those quibbles about the actual quality of the, you know, art down to the details, I think technically, or not technically, I think emotionally, like it gets the job done, and it's very expressive, and it struck me, and I thought, like, that's an image I want to hold on to, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. This wide shot of the droid foundry, I really enjoy it, not on an emotional level, but kind of on a technical level, because it feels like it's a miniature set. Like for you know, various movies, they make miniatures for the prequels, especially episode 1. They had like an astounding number of miniatures and miniature sets that they used, you know, to fill in and, you know, to make the scenes happen. And I feel like that looks like one. It's kind of made of very simple shapes, and like it would have been easy for the artist to hand sketch, I'm sure, you know, because these artists are so competent and so talented, of course. But it's cool because it's kind of iconic, and when you get to this bottom right-hand corner panel, you can definitely tell that they're still at the same location because that weird little forked antenna type shape at the top of one of the turrets or towers, you know, the Anakin and R2 fly past. So I like all the unity that's presented by that. If you've checked out my other Age of Republic reviews, I've talked about these great splash pages that they have. Each one of them seems to feature like this really great action panel or page where the panels kind of like bleed over into each other. You have images crossing the gutters, and they're very evocative of motion, or, you know, they communicate motion very well, and they're just really well executed. And this is the one for Anakin. It's very, I mean, I would say it's more straight-laced or common or like less special than the others, but it's all very well executed, and it's good stuff. I'm not going to spoil it, but just overall the story was pretty simple. Anakin was supposed to help lead an attack on this droid foundry, and he didn't listen to Yularen. He didn't follow orders. He did his own thing. He went rogue, and he saved a bunch of slaves that were actually there. And I like the fact that it's a simple, it's not really a moral message, but it's a simple thing. It's a very simple story because Anakin just sticks to who he is, and he stays true to who he is. He's defiant of the Jedi, or not the Jedi in this instance. He's defiant of Yularen, and he defies the government. And he says a line in there, no matter what rank they may give me, I'm a Jedi first and foremost, and I'm always going to do what I can to do the most good for the most people, basically. Which is really great. And I don't know what this species is supposed to be, but these, like green skinned ram guys. Anakin at one point, he says like, hey, I wiped out all these battle droids. Will you pick up weapons and fight? Like, can you use their guns? And the guy responds to him and he says, just because we don't fight in your war doesn't mean we can't fight. And that's a sentiment I really appreciate. And it kind of reminds me of Anakin's position in this issue, where he's willing to fight and be violent, and they talk about how there are human casualties when they're fighting the Separatist army, which is primarily comprised of droids, and that they're kind of lucky that the Jedi are in this cozy position where they just get to wreak havoc and destroy these droids without consideration for their lives, but people still do die. But he's going to do it on his own terms, and it seems like these guys, I can't remember what planet they're from, whatever, they don't want to join a side in the war. They want to remain neutral, and like they're sticking to their morals, even though it's inconvenient for the larger military-industrial complex or whatever. But I think it's a really neat thing, just examining different people taking stances on their morals and their code of honor. And I don't really have anything more constructive to say. I enjoyed this issue. I love Anakin. I'm probably biased towards enjoying this to some extent, but I do think it was very simple, but it was very well executed. And I mean, what more can you ask for? Anyway, I enjoyed the comic. I think you'll like it too, hopefully. But regardless, you can check out more of my comic reviews here on the channel. I have a playlist of all the Star Wars comic reviews I've done. You can check out mjmunoz.com, where I have everything linked. You can help support me if you like what I'm doing. You can give me a tip, help me afford some more comics so I can review more by going over to coffee.com/mjmunoz. And yeah, I do a bunch of other stuff that you can check out and find links to here on the end card. And thanks for your time, and may the Force be with you.